Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Mandates, the show where my brother and I force each other to watch movies according to a monthly theme. I am Kelly.
I am Andrew.
And this month's theme was, or is, still is, March Madness. So I mandated brother watch Fight Club. But before we get to that, it is only fair, since I've mandated the movie, that brother gets to challenge me in a segment we call Trivial Trivia. All right, I'm ready. Thinking cap is on.
Okay.
All right.
So, in honor of Fight Club, a
Yes.
movie which could be reductively described as a film about men punching the crap out of each other. In the great and grand pantheon of film, what is the best scene of two dudes punching the crap out of each other?
I know the best scene of one dude punching the crap out of himself.
Oh, liar, liar.
Yes.
Jim Carrey liar.
The pen is blue.
You know that? I mean,
The best scene
I'm
of
kicking my own ass. Do you mind?
so good. Is this so good? Stop breaking the law, asshole. So here's the thing. We're not here to talk about that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's a funny movie, though.
you know what has some really
And it's
good,
got Jennifer Tilly in it.
whom I love. I just love her.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. Chucky loves her.
Hmm.
Point, I think that Peter Griffin and the chicken have a lot of good fights in Family Guy. You know who has good fights is
Wait, is there more than one? I'm aware of the Peter
the
and
chicken and
chicken
Peter.
fight in
There are
Family
it is
Guy.
an
There's
ongoing
oh,
motif,
oh, okay.
and it has exponentially grown. No, let me tell you which one I like, and it's going to be disagreed
Arguably
upon.
TV show, not a film, but
Right. Is Dirty Dancing, when Johnny hits Robbie. And I will tell you why I like this one. And there's no blood, which is unfortunate. You'll have to go to Roadhouse for that. And Roadhouse is beautiful. But the thing that's so interesting about the Dirty Dancing fight scene that I've always loved is just the blatant Western feel of they're just in the dirt and they're scuffling, but Johnny's wearing all black and Robbie is wearing all white. And Johnny's the good guy and Robbie's the bad guy. And I just, it, to this moment, it stuck with me as an interesting juxtaposition of just like, because normally you think, the cowboy in white comes in and you're like, oh, he's so pure. Somehow he doesn't have horse crap on his boots. And then, the guy in all black is the bad guy. And so I just know it was just one of those things. It's not a great fight. It is over so quickly because, again, Patrick Swayze is going to win. you know, but it was, I don't know. I just think for what it was, for the movie it was, for the people they were, it's a fight scene that has always stuck with me for that reason. Edward Norton has a scene in American History X that they curb check a guy.
Oh,
and that
the curb stomp. Yeah.
That's what do you have one that comes to mind?
As just a scene of two dudes trading blows to the point of ridiculousness. Yeah. My vote would be Keith David versus Rowdy Roddy Piper in They Live.
Oh, any of the Kill Bill fight scenes. Some of those Kill Bill ones are pretty dang good.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of specifically two dudes and fisticuffs rather than weapons or martial arts. In They Live, Roddy Piper's trying to convince Keith David, I don't remember the characters' names at all, to put on the glasses to see the alien invasion, and he doesn't want to. And so they start just punching the crap out of each other in an alleyway.
I
with no
totally remember
with
that.
no film score. So it's just completely raw. These two assholes just punching each other over a pair of sunglasses for like 6 solid minutes. It is an incredibly long fight scene.
I do
And I
recall.
love the choice of, if I'm remembering correctly anyway, I haven't seen it in a while, but I love the choice that's in my memory, whether it's correct or not, of not scoring the scene. It's just the sound of, beef hitting pavement, and
Oh, whew.
it is, for my money, that is the best scene of two dudes just punching each other.
That's so true. I'm trying to think of like other, like I mean, because I don't want to like go to a boxing movie, because I mean, technically that's two dudes,
Fair, but
but
I get it.
I don't want to go there. Um, I'm sure Joe Pesci has been in some incredible fights. In Casino, there's some lots of blood and teeth spitting
Well,
out in
yeah,
that
he
one.
he
He's the
punches the crap out of somebody, and then I think he gets wait, Casino, I think he gets baseball batted to death.
yes, but
And
he
Goodfellas is the one where he just gets shot in the back of the head, I think.
after he,
If I'm remembering. I
screws
think
some
they
people
they
up for a bit.
I think they lead him to, they're like, hey, someone wants to talk to you. They lead him to a room, it's an empty
Yeah.
room, and they shoot him.
Yeah. But in Casino, because it's De Niro in that one. I know he beats the hell out of Susan's or
Well, he's in
Sharon Stone.
Goodfellas too, so
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
he's in
I
both, right?
Casino was one of my
Yeah.
remember when we had the free um the illegal cable that everyone had
The
back in the
cable
day,
box, yeah.
the cable box, and pay-per-view channels would play the same movie for like the entire week. And that was my heyday, man. I was like, I will watch this every day for the week, and then I will be obsessed with something else next week. But I actually like yours. I'll have to watch They Live again. It's a good. The
I
moment
haven't.
you said the scene, like when the glasses, I'm like, I do remember the kerfuffle over the glasses,
Yeah.
and the whole thing was just like, put them on. Like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, wonderful. I love They Live, and that is just a wonderful scene.
All out of bubble gum.
Some the lore has it that Rowdy Piper ad-libbed that.
I
No
hope
idea if
so.
that's
You know what?
true. It's
What a wonderful thing to think, right?
mhm.
Good on you.
It's
Good
like,
on you.
dude, Roddy, say something cool. It's like, I've come to chew bubble gum and kick ass. I'm all out of bubble gum.
Well, it works. It works.
That'll do, Roddy. Thanks.
And cut. Excellent. Paycheck. um so yeah, although I will like I guess it's interesting that question is going to make me like ruminate on like my movie choices, because I action sequences are like coming to mind. I'm like, that's not the same. It's not the same. But like, which is why I think I went to Peter and the chicken, because
That
they're
is a fist
so
fight. Yeah.
because it's always just they just punch each other through
And
different.
it's a ridiculous
And technically it isn't
long
a movie
two
because The Simpsons
dudes
does have a
punching.
movie. So it's
Well,
just an
that's Family
animated
Guy,
movie.
though, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I lied to you. Family Guy. Family Guy doesn't have a
Does
movie.
Family Guy have a
You are
movie?
correct. It is
I'm
Family Guy.
unaware if
I
it
have
does.
no idea why I went there. Family Guy doesn't have a movie, I don't think.
I don't know.
Bob does. Simpsons does.
The Bob's Burgers has a movie. I saw it.
I know. I've seen it many times.
Oh, okay.
I liked it. This movie, Fight Club, I've now seen twice. Once in the theater in 1999 when it came out. Yeah, I went to the theater to see it, and I've been angry about it ever since, hence March Madness. And I watched it again for this.
Okay, well, let me ask you
Hold
a
that
question.
thought, yes.
Because when I watched it last night, which is the first time I'd seen it.
Yes, I know.
I'd heard of it, but I'd never seen it. I watched it last night, and I thought, and I was thinking about how differently I would have reacted to and taken this movie had I seen it 20 some years ago.
Right.
So my question to you is, how, if at all, does your reaction to the film differ 20 some years apart?
So it's completely different and yet the same. So that's a great answer. It's so different yet so
yet
alike.
The same.
Yet exactly the same.
That's exactly like the fortune cookie bullshit that Tyler Durden uses to build like, his cult.
Your life is about to change drastically, but you don't have to do anything. Everything's going to work out and be the same. No. So obviously, well, not obviously.
You have to feel nothing to feel everything. You have to lose everything to gain it all. It's like,
I've decided what to name my new island.
Oh, your new island? Okay.
And by the way, we should do a video of the fact that I've gone through like 128 names
because I was thinking new Kumquatia.
Nothing at all. ATOLL. You don't like it.
Is nothing part? Is it just at all, or is it nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
Okay, that I actually like.
I'm like, why don't you like it? It's brilliant.
It is. I was just like, wait. Were you setting it? You're just calling
nothing
it
at all.
Okay.
Okay, that's not the point. At all.
I do.
When I hated this movie
in '99.
In '99. Let me be clear. I left the theater very angry.
Why?
Because it doesn't work for me.
Okay.
I'll tell you, we'll go back to this because I still agree with that assessment. It still doesn't work.
I still agree with 19-year-old me.
But 17. But I respect a lot more about it. It is incredibly well written. I really enjoy how it was written. I enjoy the performances. It's crafted very nicely. And now that
the craft is great. Yeah.
Yes. Now that I am, middle-aged, if you will, I understand the feeling of a cog in the machine. What the hell is my life for? Capitalism sucks because it doesn't work, really. Like, just, I understand that sort of sitting on the toilet and looking at magazines of furniture that you want to put in your home because, and the banality of life. So I have a respect for that, where I'm sure at 17, I don't think I was completely glossed over the fact that he is so unhappy in the, rat race that is his life, because I was, depending on when in the year it came out, I was either a senior or no, it was my first semester at college in '99, because that's when I graduated high school and went to college. So none of that meant anything to me, and I don't even, and watching it the other night, I definitely was like, it's funny to watch movies that I watched long ago because I actually can recall I didn't get that. Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of it that way. So like the craft of the movie and all of that, and just knowing also the ending and watching it, I think helped. And then I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. And now I understand how he got there. But the twist doesn't work at all. No, for me, I guessed it. I didn't guess it. They make it obvious. It's not a twist.
I was just going to say, I don't think it's a twist.
No, it's not.
We're talking about the fact that they're the same person.
They're the same person.
Yeah, I don't remember if I knew that or not.
That.
Really?
Well, I mean, they did when it's told to them, but like, so I was.
I mean, the movie tells you pretty damn early.
They do, but so did they in Sixth Sense, and people didn't know, and I was actually fooled by
the difference is Sixth Sense. To me, my read on both of the films is the Sixth Sense is specifically constructed to trick you. Fight Club, I don't get that impression. I don't get the sense that Fincher was like, oh, we're really gonna pull. Oh my God, he's the same person all the time. No, not really. I mean, I can imagine a lot of people just didn't know because a
Well,
lot of people don't watch movies that closely. Like
right.
if you wouldn't have been doing this in 99, but if you're flipping through Twitter on your phone or something, you're going to miss the fact that there's the subliminal Brad Pitts edited into the
Yes.
beginning of the
Which I
movie.
hate, by the way.
Oh, I hate too. I
I
had no idea that
hate
was going to
them.
be a thing. When it first came up, I went, "What the hell was that?" And I stopped and rewound the movie. I'm
Of
like,
course you did. When I watched it, I thought about that. I'm like, brother has paused. I know for a fact that he'll pause here because he's gonna rewind and go, what the hell was that? And I hate it. I think it's a terrible idea too. I think
I think it's
I've
an
read about it,
interesting
I heard
idea.
about it. I don't like it.
It's an
I don't like it
interesting
at all.
idea. They do try to thematically incorporate it into the movie with the splicing in subliminal stuff into the thing. I don't think it works though.
No, that's what I
But
said. It
yeah,
doesn't work for me.
it's an interesting idea, and I applaud Fincher or whoever came up with it for trying something new. Don't
Right.
think it works, but you see Brad Pitt constantly ghost Brad Pitt showing up in the beginning of the movie, and then the Edward Norton, whatever the character's name.
Jack.
Do they even actually
No.
say his name throughout the movie?
No, but I'm pretty sure it's Jack.
Well, he's like reading a poem or
Book.
something that's
I know.
from the perspective of a guy named Jack's
I know.
organs.
He's his character is the narrator.
Oh, is that how he's credited?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Okay. Well, while while the narrator is narrating towards it, he's in the airport, and the first time you really see Brad Pitt, they're crossing paths on moving walkways. He's saying something like, and then you go to sleep and you wake up on someone else, and the camera's like, Brad Pitt. I'm like, okay, I've got it. Thank you.
Yeah, the whole thing is, and the thing is that I was watching it, and I this was 20 years ago when I was watching it, I was second guessing myself because I'm like, no, it doesn't work. It can't work. This is not a thing. And so I was second guessing myself. And then when, Marla comes in and he's going up the stairs and he's like, don't talk about me. I was like, come on. No. I was very upset at it because in my head, and they go back and they're like, yeah, he's beating the shit out of himself in the parking lot. And so they show you what it looks like.
Dumping lye in his own hand. And yeah.
But like,
although there is a shot on the security camera where it looks like a ghost is dragging his ass backwards across the floor. So.
Dude, it does, because he's like, he's going like this. And I'm like,
yeah, I'm like,
you've got to have abs of like, no, you actually just have to have a rod on your back because no one can. You got to
be sitting on a skateboard or something. Yeah.
It's fine.
But whatever. That's the least of my problems with the film.
I was gonna say that's not where my anger comes from. My anger comes twofold. First of all, perhaps it is because I'm not a dude that I don't understand a thing about this impulse. Nothing. So much that like when I was in college, there were like this movie spoke to the boys, and they're like, oh, I want to start a fight club, and I'm like, I can't. This is one of those things
that must kill Fincher's soul when he hears shit like that. And he's like, what? No,
that's the thing.
No, you assholes. Did you even watch the movie?
So first of all, there's that. But like, so in watching it this time and like knowing things and like,
how explicit do I have to be as a filmmaker to tell you that this is bad? These are contemptible, stupid people we're supposed to be laughing at while still realizing they're very dangerous. You dumbasses. Yeah. So.
But no, it was a big thing. Boys liked it. It was like the testosterone boost of like, and it changed people for a couple months until whatever else came out next. But things worked slower then. Things did work slower then. Mm-hmm. So like they could luxuriate in their interest in punching each other's faces for longer than they would if it came out today. Mm-hmm. So for me, I try to put myself in someone else's shoes all the time. I'm always trying to understand this is something that I simply 100% cannot. Don't get it. No, I have zero interest in ever being hit. I have zero interest in ever hitting someone. I don't feel like I need to experience near death in order to feel alive. Breathing helps for me to feel alive.
Yeah.
You know, there are other things that I could do.
There are worse things I
there
could
are
do.
worse things I could do. And then I also just have a hatred. Oh, by the way, when the movie started and they were doing the name Brad Pitt, Edward Norton.
Gotta hate the font they used for the opening and closing credits.
First off, terrible. But second off, I always thought it was
another interesting
meatloaf.
choice. Just doesn't work.
I thought it was meatloaf.
Mm-hmm.
One word, meatloaf. But it's meat, and then loaf was below it in the opening
I didn't
credits.
even notice that. I thought it was one word.
I was like, it's a. I thought it was meatloaf, not meat loaf.
Mr. Loaf, sir.
Mr. Loaf. Hey, meat. No, I wonder if they did that for.
Is it a stylistic thing, or is it actually meat loaf? I thought it was meatloaf.
So did I. I do not know the answer to this. You can look it up because I interrupted my train of thought. I can't get behind a person with dissociative identity disorder leading a group of, being a cult leader. There are a lot of cult leaders, and the fact that they know, they are very, very aware. So, because when he starts asking questions, they're like, oh, this is Tyler's other personality, who's the fuddy-duddy, who we're not allowed to answer the questions. Like, the fact that Tyler had to have meetings with people being like, so here's the thing, I have dual personalities, I'm living in someone else's brain, but you're gonna want to follow me. Like, that would be a lot of, I mean, even Marla, I mean, she's screwed up, but even just her specific, she has enough with him. She comes back because of the sex.
Apparently he's very good at the sex.
He's very good at the sex, but she comes back because of the sex. But she tells him, she's like, I can't take this back and forth. It's too much. It happens all the time. I can't handle it. And yet he has a following in every gosh darn city who also know he's mentally ill. It just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. No one, not us, everyone, like, cult leaders. Yes, absolutely. Brad Pitt could be a cult leader. Brad Pitt could not be a cult leader if half of his shtick was, I'm not always Brad Pitt. Sometimes I'm Edward Norton's cool, but like sometimes I'm a whiny little, do-gooder. And that's not what this cult is. It just, it infuriates me with a fire from the bottom of my feet soles. And it just, the entire thing doesn't work. I get what you want. I get what you're going for. And I wanted so badly to get rid of his gosh darn, what are those called? The subliminal messaging Brad Pitts at the beginning of the movie. Get rid of those, have them meet on a plane, have Brad Pitt be a real person, have him be someone that he saw on the plane that he said, holy, this is who I should have been. This is what I should be. He goes home, his apartment blows up because he set the thing. Granted, here's where my story, I would need to do a little retconning here, but that's okay. So here we go. He comes home, his apartment blows up, and he has the card of this Tyler Durden dude. He calls it, doesn't answer, hangs up, and that's when the hallucinations, that's when it starts. The callback is he wants so bad to be that guy that he turns himself into this guy, that he met a guy on the plane that he needs, that's the one. Because he even says, he's like, you're my favorite single person, for a single friend, single moment friend, or whatever. And to me, that's what I wanted. And I think when I was watching it the first time long ago, I held on to that. So I was like, that's what I want. I don't want you to be the same person, because to me, it rings so untrue. But anyways, hence I chose it for March Madness. So now that I've orated for 24 minutes, brother, I can't So here's the thing. I can't actually imagine you watching this movie. But now that just because I feel like it's a movie
Well,
completely
you
outside of
mandated I
anything.
do.
I
So
did. No, so I know that you have. It's so outside of, I think, anything that you would have chosen to watch on your own ever in life. So I'm so interested to
it's a
hear.
movie that I just didn't look interesting to me and never bothered to watch. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it wasn't, I've always meant to watch it. No, I never
you never
intended to
really
watch
did.
it. Had you not mandated it, I never would have bothered watching this movie.
I am very glad to have seen it again. I actually am. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed it so much more this time, even though I still don't like it, and even still I have that feeling that it doesn't work. I liked it so much more this time because I respected the art and a lot of the
Yeah,
what
there's
it's.
a lot I like about the
Mhm.
movie. Mostly the craft in putting the film together. There's a lot of really great cinematography, editing, directing, acting, all kinds of really cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
Not everything works. Uh, some really awful CG, but then I'm keeping, it's over 20
99.
years
Yeah.
old. But I'm thinking, even
Not
by 99, though,
not everything can live up to Jurassic Park standards.
yeah,
Even Jurassic Park couldn't live up to their own standards as
yeah.
they got older.
So but I think the movie for me is one of those, it's much more interesting to actually talk about than enjoyable to watch.
I've been telling
um
Jeremy all day, I'm like, I'm actually very excited to talk about it with brother.
so I think there are two major differences, I think, between how I would have reacted to this when I was 19 and how I react to it today. When I was back in 99, I would have watched this and I would have said, well, that's not realistic. I would have said,
Right. You are different. You were totally different.
nobody would follow this asshole. No one would join this stupid cult and start doing this thing, even if it wasn't led by someone who's obviously very unstable and mentally ill.
Thank you. But I feel like,
Today,
mhm.
I totally believe that.
Okay, yes, but
Maybe not specifically this guy,
okay.
but I
An
mean,
unhinged
but a
lunatic who is deranged. Oh yeah,
but
I mean,
but
yes, I can see people
but a
following that.
group of um misogynistic asshole men getting together, toxic masculinity with slaving over pseudo intellectual fortune cookie level bullshit and devolving into a violent hate movement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can totally believe that today because we see it all over the goddamn place.
No, we do, but I just yeah, okay, please no, I've already high horsed.
Yeah. This
Yes. And it's true because I remember like the first, not the first scene, but like when they start the little commune in the house and everyone's working and sweeping and making soap and planting potatoes or whatever the heck they're doing.
mhm.
Um and Tyler's on the horn and he's like, "You are not a snowflake. You are not special." And I'm just like, watching it now and knowing like what
We
that
don't
does
have
to
names in
someone's,
life, but we
but we
have
have
names
names
in
in
death. It's
death.
like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this is,
It strips
yeah.
away everything that makes you an
Yeah.
individual.
Um,
Anyhow, please continue.
the other thing is one issue I have with the film and its presentation of mental illness is because of my modern day understanding of mental illness, lay though it may be, compared to my absolute zero understanding of mental illness in the before times, like before the internet, right?
Sure.
So
Before WebMD, no.
back in 99, DID was still called split
Split
personality and
personality.
such, right?
Yeah.
And one issue I have with the film today is it portrays the mentally ill as, dangerous and violent, which is, my understanding, is almost never the case. The mentally ill are the victims of violence way more often than not. So the fact that our narrator here is a mentally ill person suffering from DID, but starts, inadvertent though it may be, well, to one of his personalities, um, starts a hate movement, a toxic masculine group that devolves into a hate movement and terrorist group. That's one, pretty unrealistic, which not necessarily a problem. It's a movie, but also not really great portrayal of an already horribly stigmatized group of people. One way, and I imagine Fincher, who I don't know personally at all, might look back at Taxi Driver. Why did I say Fight Club? And say, you know what? Were I to do Fight Club today, would have done it a bit differently. One issue I have with the movie is,
well, it was a book first, though. No
it,
question mark.
it was. Have not read it.
No, me neither. So I don't know how
So
that.
I don't know how it goes in the book, but one issue I have with the film, I'm sure it's still there. There's a website called We Hunt the Mammoth, or We Hunted the Mammoth, something like that.
Okay.
It's essentially documenting toxic masculinity, the hate groups, men going their own way, and incels and stuff like that.
Okay.
And years ago, I read it because I'm like, oh my God, these people are so stupid. This is kind of morbidly funny. But after a while, as some of these people started getting into politics, it wasn't fun anymore. And
right.
All due respect to the dude whose name I forget, who runs We Hunt the Mammoth, I stopped reading that site many, many years ago because it wasn't fun anymore. It was just depressing.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I feel about Fight Club, because there's really nothing more to the movie than just watching these asshole dudes start as assholes and get worse,
continue as assholes
for 2 hours and 20 minutes. There's almost nothing else to really latch onto or grab onto or hope. There's just not much there. So one alternate way to approach the movie, perhaps with a better modern lens, would be Edward Norton being a mentally ill person who's being taken advantage of, being gaslighted, brainwashed, cajoled by a Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
Much more reflective of reality, where people who suffer from various forms of mental illness are much more likely to be the victims of violence than perpetrate it themselves. Mm-hmm. And that would have helped to give us a sympathetic protagonist. An alternate thing you could have done is told the story from the perspective of Helena Bonham Carter, Marla singer. I don't know. That could have been another way for the audience to have an in to this world without having to sit and marinate in it for 2.5 hours.
Because she has her own. I mean, she freaking tried to OD in a scene. There was a suicide attempt, sort of, that is very glossed over. If you want to go down the road of not portraying mental illness in a helpful way.
And you can do whatever you want in your fictional narrative. If you want to tell a story about a mentally ill serial killer, you can do that. That's okay. It, in and of itself, it's not problematic. What's problematic is the trend of such portrayals, or the prevalence of such portrayals in a world where such a group of people are overwhelmingly and unfairly stigmatized in that way, right? That's when it that's why it's problematic. So, but not many people who aren't themselves are mentally ill or don't know anyone who suffers from any variety of mental illness 20 years ago weren't thinking about that and weren't aware of
No,
that.
and even I don't always look at it through that lens
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, which is why I think I when I mentioned I that he saw a guy that he wanted to be and he wanted to emulate that.
Mm-hmm.
I took it more as rather than he truly is mentally ill, it's like he is having a midlife crisis and is trying just to get out of it. Although if he is blacking, like he is, no, he is. You are correct, because you're losing time and you're waking up as someone else and you completely don't know what you're doing and all of this stuff. Like 100%, it is a mental illness, and you are right. But like, I didn't, and I guess maybe that's why I didn't want it to be. Maybe that's what, because I was like, it's just such a bad portrayal.
Imagine if the film, I mean, the film is what it is, right? But
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just,
it's been made.
we're too late now.
Too
Fincher,
late now to
man.
change it.
Of course, if Fincher would have asked me, I would not have had these exact notes. So, but it might have been more interesting. Again, looking at it with what if Edward Norton, who, boy, was he typecast as a person who played people with DID? Well, I mean, whatever his name is in Primal Fear didn't.
Primal Fear. No, he doesn't. He just has he's just an
He's
evil
just a
MFer.
murderer.
Yeah.
Just use that as an excuse. But
He's just a dude.
did he
But
have
no,
did he have a third movie where he did a role like that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Primal Fear was 96, 7,
It was
something?
before this. It was one of his, like, it put him.
Yeah.
He did a few things before it, but not that I really even know what those are. And I mean, he could have done 10 things before, but that's the one that made him, put him on the
So
map.
what I was saying earlier, imagine if Edward Norton's character was a mentally ill person who was being taken advantage of by the Tyler Durden character, right?
Right.
But also, what if another character, maybe Marla, was trying to reach him? And now the movie is like the battle over someone's soul. Can he save himself? Can Marla help him out of this situation? Get him out from under the influence of Tyler Durden. That's a completely different movie.
Even if it was DID, but she played the catalyst of, or if someone tried to help him in general.
That would have been more interesting, at least for me, because for me, one of the big problems with the movie, okay, let me say something nice about the movie. There's a lot in this movie that I think is genuinely funny. And it's supposed to be. You're supposed to laugh at these dumbasses.
There was
this whole thing, this stupid cult is, you're supposed to laugh at it because it's so stupid. It's about a bunch of dudes who gather in a basement on the weekend and punch each other in the face over and over. That's supposed to be funny. You're supposed to laugh at these clowns. And I did. I also kind of got a kick out of him just going to a bunch of Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and testicular cancer meetings and the scurvy meetings or whatever.
Lymphoma, I think, is one of them.
Just a bunch of stuff just to feel better about himself. And then he gets really offended when someone else, a woman, invades his space. It's like, this is my thing. It's like, oh my God, this is the worst guy ever. It's hilarious. And then, but the movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. And there's really not much more to the movie than just watching these assholes.
Watching the formation of a cult. It's just, and actually succeed in their
they reach the inevitable conclusion of this path, because this particular story, on purpose, I'm not saying it's a failing of the story, this was clearly intentional. The story is just, this is where this path leads, let's watch. And I'm like, I know where that goes because I live in 2022. I see that all the time. I don't need to watch it anymore.
Yeah. I also feel like, especially if we talk about the mental illness angle, is like, why did Tyler F off? Like, again, I don't know DID very well.
Yeah,
but like at the end,
face turn, so to speak, the almost entirely full emergence of the narrator personality.
Yeah.
If there's something in the film that was supposed to be like the catalyst for that, other than the story needs it, I missed it.
And that's what another thing for me is I'm like, he wouldn't have just like, this is the culmination of everything that personality has been working
Tyler
towards.
Durden is his his actual desires, the things that he wants to do,
which is why
wants to hit things. He wants to have lots and lots of angry athletic sex. He wants to break the law and piss in the punch bowl and show porn to kids and all. Oops, are you frozen? Did you freeze? Now we have to wait for Kelly to come back. Dum-de-doo. 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 Still waiting. Let me text her and see if... Oh, there you are. You're back.
I heard everything you said. Absolutely everything you said. And you're just like, she's frozen. I'm like,
even the dumb doody-doody-doos? Oh, everything okay. So the audio... So you could hear everything. Was I still moving?
No.
I froze, but you could hear me.
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
Interesting.
So...
But that's what I'm saying. Another reason why it didn't work in this whole is when you are getting to the fruition of that desire and it is coming into reality, and you're like, Tyler was taking over more and more and more because he had to, which is why telling it from the narrator's point of view, the movie is very fast paced, even though it's 2.5 hours ish. Like, things move very quickly because we're only watching when the narrator
it doesn't. I'll give it that. It does. Yeah, it does not drag. It's just long.
Yes,
and there's nothing else going on here.
Right, but it feels like it moves so quickly because we can only listen to Edward Norton tell the story, and when it's full Tyler, we are not privy to this, which also means there were long expanses of full Tyler, not just because for timing and pacing purposes they couldn't show us Edward Norton, they can't show every minute of getting up and yawning and being like, what pants did I wear today, or just the robe with coffee cups on it. But one would have, but robe. It was a great robe though. He looks great in it. But that personality should have been taking over. So as it gets to this big climactic moment, for him to just piss off makes no sense. That's another time to me, it was like, well, we have to have a reveal and we have to have the narrator have a moment of clarity.
We need a climax, and our climax needs conflict, but we've only got one person, so we need them to fight each other. And why? It doesn't work. It's possible Fincher come sit me down and go, let me explain to you, and be like,
let me explain my art. I don't think I need to explain my art to you.
I'd tweet him, Dave, come on over and explain your art to me. I got 7.
You're like, that one made sense.
But Fight Club,
I know what was in the box.
Okay. Well, I mean, Kevin Spacey does specifically say what's in the box,
and yet people still didn't know that Ed and Brad were the same person for a while. So
okay, yeah, there are probably still people. Did we ever find out what's in the box? They don't show it. Yeah, but they literally tell you.
They literally tell you.
Yeah, he's like, her head,
her
pretty head, or whatever it is. Okay, so let me sum up by saying, if for some reason we ever wanted to do a spin-off of Fight Club. You know, another movie that's it's not a sequel. It's just in the universe of Fight Club.
Sure.
Here's where I want the focus.
Oh, baby.
I want to follow what's her name, Chloe or something, the woman with cancer who's very horny and wants to get laid before she dies.
I have things in my apartment. You can come back, please. I just want to get. Oh, I felt that is tragic, though.
It totally, that could be like the most hilariously pitch black sex comedy ever. And she's much more interesting than anyone else in the movie. Wait, later you hear that she passed away.
Died.
I'm like,
she did pass away.
And
but
I'm like,
did
she get laid first? I really want. This is the character that I'm invested in. I'm like looking around the church that she's talking. I'm like, anyone gonna raise their hands? Like, I'll do you.
I know. Cute. I'm like, come on.
She seems like a really sweet woman.
And she's down.
And she's down. She's DTF. Breathing and she's down.
She every man's hand should have been like, and some women's. Like,
I was actually wondering if Edward Norton's character was what it was going to be like.
I agree. I was
take her up on it or something.
I was like,
it's almost framed like that's going to happen, but it doesn't. I hope she got laid.
Me too.
Before she passed, I hope she had lots of awesome sex.
My headcanon says yes.
Yes, me too, because everything else in the movie's depressing. Nothing good happens in the movie.
No.
For anyone,
No.
I mean, even Helen Bonham Carter, she gets, he puts her on a bus out of town, and then his cult members just drag her ass back.
I mean, they go get her and they bring her back, and then she gets to I don't ever need to see someone with the side of their cheek blown off. That's just not something.
That was funny too. He shoots himself in the face and lives, and it's just like, oh, this kind of hurts.
Well, come over here then.
Was it the cat?
Yes.
And there's a lot of the movie is supposed to be. Maybe David come over. No, this is deadly serious.
Dude, he's gonna listen to this and be like, heavy sigh, and okay, you two. Let's discuss where
we're gonna have to sit down with the Eisen kids. Yeah. No, but my read on the film,
school's the Eisens. Yeah, that's what
my read on the film is that it was genuinely supposed to be funny. You're supposed to laugh at this. This is supposed to be funny, and it was. But overall, the movie was akin to just reading We Hunt the Mammoth for 2.5 hours. I appreciate the work behind it, but I don't want to read that shit for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So, but I have now seen Fight Club, so
and I've been able to vindicate the fact that, like, okay, I've seen it. Now I actually understand it and feel, a lot, like, I get it. I get a lot more about it, and yet still what ailed me or irked me, not ailed, I was fine, but but irked me. I've been fine. I haven't been ailing for 22 years. I've just been irked. So yeah.
My life is I'm so bummed because I have this job that I don't like, but still it pays me well enough that I can have this like 1,700 square foot penthouse apartment and just stock it with furniture. That's what I do as a hobby. I just buy furniture over and over, and I'm constantly jet setting around the country, seeing new places. I'm so miserable. Fuck you, dude.
As someone who buys a lot of furniture for their sibling, furniture is quite expensive.
Yeah, that's. I mean, doesn't matter how anyone can be depressed. It doesn't matter how subjectively good your life is. I get that, but come on, movies. If you want me to get Falling Down, I'm on Michael Douglas's side through most of the movie. That movie doesn't.
Told me, I can't recall at this exact moment. We don't need to get into it, but like I do recall you explaining it to me, and I remember going, Oh
The movie
yeah, I
does a
totally get
great
it.
job of making the audience empathize with Michael Douglas's character throughout the bulk of the film.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Well,
Well, that
hey, so
so
ends.
and so ends March Madness. So what are we doing in April? April laughter?
Yeah, April showers. No, April rainy movies. All the movies about floods.
Singing in the rain and
Right.
stormy
So,
weather.
and what was? Do you remember when
What's
we
the one with
went?
Christian Slater? Hard Rain?
So it was hard rain, but do you remember? I don't remember the movie that we were seeing, but brother and I were in the theater and we watched a movie, and one of the previews was for a upcoming Christian Slater flick called The Flood, and Morgan Freeman was in it, and I was so excited.
That's
and you and I
right.
were I was like, because Christian Slater, my boyfriend here, and I was like, well, we're gonna have to see it. And I
One day
remember
we'll tell him.
one day I'll let him know that, we've had a thing for a long time. I'm sure he'd be fine with it. And Elijah's fine with it. Like, that's why you have like the Mary person. I've married Elijah, which was one of my Animal Crossing options. I wanted to call it Elijah Woods. Like, I live in Elijah Woods, but they don't say, but they never say, here's the reason I didn't go with Elijah Woods is because it's not, they say on and not in. They're like, oh, you live on Concordia.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
On Elijah Woods didn't fit. In Elijah Woods did, and I just couldn't do it. I'm like, nope, can't live on Elijah. I will live on Elijah's wood, but not in Elijah's woods. No, here's the thing. What were we talking about? Going to see The Flood. And then, so we were waiting for it and looking for it, and they randomly just changed it to Hard Rain. And it came out, and I remember we were like, wait, this is that movie.
It's the same movie.
But it was called The Flood. Like, we full on
did Morgan
saw
Freeman and Christian Slater make another movie about
but like flood? We full on saw a preview of this movie in
with
the theater
with the alternate title,
with the other title, and then somewhere in a year's span it changed. Yeah, I definitely remember that. But so yes, April is Sing for Me. So we're gonna do some musicals because April showers brings musicals.
Well, you sing in the showers, which happen in April. So
you do. You sing in showers. Showers happen in April.
I think we just wanted to watch musicals.
After March Madness, I think I just wanted something light and fluffy. So, well, or not. There are some dark musicals, and you're about to tell me what we're watching.
Yes, we are going to watch Repo, the Genetic Opera.
Oh my goodness. Have you seen it?
I have, yes.
I've not. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm really excited. Well, I'm excited to watch it again, and I'm also excited to hear how you react to it. So, are you aware of the? So, for anyone who doesn't know the basic premise of Repo Genetic Opera,
that would be me.
In the future, which is probably like 96 or something, but in the future, some epidemic happens where people suffer massive organ failure, and some company capitalizes on it by selling people replacement organs. But if you miss a payment, they send the repo man to repossess the organ that you're not paying for.
And this is a musical? Wait, this is
yes.
We're doing musicals, brother.
This is an opera.
Oh.
Yeah, this is full opera. And it's about a guy who repossesses organs while you're using them. Oh,
yeah, I need that.
Yes, we all need this in our life. So,
I'm so excited. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well, if y'all want to watch with us, look in the show notes and you'll find where you can watch Repo, the Genetic Opera.
Yep.
Repo, the Genetic Opera. You can watch it with us. And until then, you can watch Movie Mandates on YouTube or listen to it in the podcast form on iTunes and do all those lovely things like liking us and ringing bells and subscribing and telling people that we're awesome and starring, all of that. So while you're doing that, you're following us. You can follow me at Get Isengard.
And you can follow me at Andrew Eisen.
And we hope you all enjoyed this episode of Movie Mandates. And we'll be back soon with another mandate. Bye now.
Bye.